guys, this is Azerlin with a quick review of Necropolis. Necropolis is a third-person dungeon crawling adventure with permadeath that can be played as single player or online co-op. Combat is what makes up most of the game. At first I didn't like it very much, especially with the weird key bindings and certain weapons having crazy slow swing animations, but it felt a bit better once I got the hang of the controls. It's unfortunate that the key bindings are not customizable, and even after getting used to the controls, it still feels like a detriment to be stuck with the keyboard defaults. Your main way to avoid damage is bound to the control key, and sprint key is bound to V for some strange reason. There is a story in Necropolis, but you learn about it from reading random texts on walls. I really didn't have any idea what was actually going on in the story, since I spent most of my time too busy running from monsters to want to stop and read the story text. There are a good amount of enemies that you'll have to fight, and more get introduced as you progress through the levels. But a lot of them are just stronger and reskinned versions of enemies in the earlier levels. Sometimes enemies spawn from places that you just finished clearing, and it's a bit annoying that you don't always have a good place to retreat to when this happens. The music is fine and the sound effects for the different types of monsters usually give a good indication of what to expect in the upcoming room. The constant threat of death makes combat more interesting, but the combat itself doesn't feel that exciting. Monsters all attacked in a predictable way, which makes it not too difficult to dodge attacks if you're paying attention. I spent practically every encounter doing the same thing though. Quick hit, dodge back, and kite enemies around the room and repeat this every time you get your stamina back. There are more powerful attacks, but when fighting groups of enemies, I found that using them would often result in me taking additional damage when stuck during the combat animation. The power attacks were effective in the 1 vs 1 though. Different weapons have different ranges and speeds. It seems like they all have their advantages and disadvantages, but it definitely feels like some weapons just aren't as effective as others. Like maces, for example, have a fairly short range with a very slow attack speed, and you'll often wind up taking damage or getting interrupted while you're trying to attack. I really wish that there were stats in this game, because I have no idea if I should change my weapons or armor to different items in the same tier. Even the skill books that you save up for from your previous runs have no stat indication whatsoever. It would be really nice to know what exactly each item does. I also wish there was a way that you could save up items to bypass the earlier levels, like Enter the Gungeon has. In Necropolis, you will spend a good amount of time managing your inventory and crafting various potions and food to keep yourself alive. Inventory space is fairly limited, and items don't stack. I would really like to see the same items stack with each other, or maybe even just more inventory space. Also, drinking potions and eating food takes time, and you have no way to cancel once you start, so you need to be very careful about where and when you eat or drink. The game can't be paused either, which I can understand for co-op, but I'm really confused as to why I can't pause single player mode. The minimalist environments look decent enough, but there are some areas that are pretty dull looking, especially in the earlier levels of the game. Exploring often feels like I'm finding more of the same areas. Speaking of environments, there is a very common issue with monsters getting stuck on the terrain, and sometimes in the terrain. It often works to your advantage, but it's still something that needs to be fixed. With the game being procedurally generated and death being permanent, there's always the potential for replay value. But it does start to feel repetitive, seeing similar areas and fighting the same mobs over and over again. Online co-op is available, and I would imagine Necropolis being more enjoyable with friends, but I haven't actually tried it yet. I've played the game over 11 hours so far, and it's not a bad game, but I feel that the price is too high for its current state. Although I'm mostly enjoying the game, it's not quite as much as I had hoped. It's a good concept and it has potential, but there are definitely some issues that need to be addressed. I hope this review has helped you. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, and post your feedback in the comments below. Thanks everyone, and have a wonderful day.